Good morning, guys. Welcome to Approach the Nerd, our charmed live stream that we unfortunately had to reschedule for this morning. But I got my Dunkin' Donut oatmeal decaf coffee because I'm allergic to caffeine, so I can pretend with enough imagination that this is going to help me. I've got my fake flowers because sometimes you just gotta be festive. And I got my detailed notes on the series because I try to take notes whenever I watch the show. And I have found some things I have questions about. Good episode. I did like this episode, but I got to find something. It's just who I am. So, and when I say good morning, I also mean good evening if you're in a time zone where it is night for you or afternoon. But yeah, Charm, season 3, episode 5. You do you. Let's jump in. So I have to say this up front. I love the opening sequence. I love seeing Maggie dancing because I know the actress is a dancer. Sarah Jaffe's in her natural element, basically just dancing. So I was very, very cool with that. And I will say, I knew that somehow they were going to incorporate that into her thesis or her project that she was trying to do for an internship, only because so my spouse has a psychology degree and is really into art therapy. So I automatically knew that movement, like psychology dealing with trauma through movement, was going to be a thing. I knew it like straight off that that's where they were going with that. And I mean, props. I think it actually is very suiting for her. I wish we had seen more of her in this dance capacity in seasons 1 and 2, but I'm glad we're seeing her now. Her hair too is on point. Now, what's amazing to me is that girl has my hair. I will prove it to you because I was looking at it and I was like, that is totally me. So guys, this here, that's my hair. I have exactly her curl pattern. I even have the same color hair. I know my hair looks dark. It's really the lighting in here. But we have the exact same freaking hair. So exciting to be related to a charm character in some capacity. Plus we're both mixed. So love it. So this episode, they're still trying to figure out. Remember last week they found that there are creatures basically that predate mankind and all of civilization, and their language predates any language that we'd have since the founding of man. So ancient scriptures. I love that Harry basically Googled what the creatures are. And he found out that the creature that they had last week, the one that they ran from, is basically from the, I'm going to see if I can see this, Kivikindi ruins of Norway. So of course they need to go to Norway to try and get, basically to see exactly what's going on. And he said the language is, it basically predates the cuneiform language, which I think is one of the oldest languages, by thousands of years. So nobody can read this language, which is interesting. But guys, how funny is it that Mel sets him up in this episode to start really thinking about the fact that he's dating a younger woman. It's like, you didn't realize before? I'm like, you're hundreds of years old. I mean, but yeah, he had lots of insecurities. I mean, so we got a monster of the week, which is related to, of course, the ancient creatures that we're trying to decipher who they are, because they keep leaving these symbols and we're trying to figure out what each of these symbols mean. Actually, it's the same symbol. And so they're doing all this research, but the monster of their week actually has the ability to kind of like entice people into doing things on behalf of them proving their love to him. So the first one we see, there's a girl named Julie whose boyfriend goes into a gas station. I guess he's going to use a bathroom, and she's like, buy me stuff while you're in there, couple stuff. And like this demon whose name is Odom comes up to the car, and he entrances her basically to prove her love by trying to kill her boyfriend. And so it's like, I will say, and I might have missed this, guys, you really need to let me know, because it could have gone really fast. So Julie, I know by the end of this episode, She has a lot of reservations about going back to her boyfriend after everything is over. I really, really need to know if they found a way to fix her problem. Because if I was her boyfriend, I would be like, Heifer, you tried to run me over with the car. So like, I need to know how they fix that. I think that would be some closure for me. And they may have said it. It may have been really, really quick, but another scene distracted me, which I'll get to in a minute. And so I probably missed it. So in the comments, guys, let me know if they actually resolved Julie's problem, because I don't remember them actually. I know they said they were going to help her, but let me know if they actually mentioned it in the episode, because I have to go back. I had to watch it on demand, which I'm not used to. All right. So we got this creature. He's enticing people. He's enticing people basically to kill people, what they love the most, basically, by proving their love to him. And these people are like, some man pushed his girlfriend off of a cliff. Another man pushed, his boyfriend or husband in front of traffic. I mean, they're just killing people that they love. So that's what's happening on that spectrum. My first question. So remember I told you Harry wants to go to Norway. Well, he can't because something happens. He can't go with Macy because something happens with Macy, which we'll talk about in a second, which we already saw in the trailer. So he takes Jordan with him. I'm always down for Jordan time. I love Jordan as a character. Jordan's very good moral support for Harry. But this is my question. How in the heck is Harry able to touch Jordan when in the last episode, Maggie specifically says she could not be around Jordan because he was cursed by magic. So even being cursed by magic, they can't be around each other. So why can Harry now touch Jordan, but Maggie couldn't? I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Did anybody catch that? Like, I remember in last week, when Mel and Maggie were walking to school together, she said, and quote, I can't even be around him without us being blasted apart. So I'm really confused about that. Now, it could be. Now, Sean, I know you guys are saying maybe it's just the charm ones that have this allergy. That could be. I don't know. It wasn't clear to me. If it was just, I wish they had just come out. If it was only the charm ones, then that's cool. I just wish they had said that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, Harry, you don't have this. You can be around whatever. So if that's what it is, that's fine. But back to the whole Harry and Jordan dynamic. I love that he showed Jordan how to do a Windsor knot. And I love the fact that they were each other's psychologists in this episode. Like Jordan feeling like he's out of place in this all white law firm where they all went to Princeton and Harvard. And, he went to pretty much like he made it sound like he went to community college, Seattle State, whatever. His insecurity. I absolutely loved it. And I love that, he was kind of telling, Harry, even though I don't know really if this made Harry feel better, saying, yeah, you're a white lighter. You don't age. So eventually Macy will outgrow you. You'll be pushing her around in her wheelchair. I'm like, what? That was hilarious. But I mean, it's so interesting that Harry never thought about this. I mean, you've had hundreds of years to think about this. So that was funny to me. So yeah, I think the age thing is going to come up again because he's going to have a conversation with Macy about that. But this all stemmed, ironically, from Mel saying that there's this app called Dirty Dish where they post weird news and dance videos, apparently. And that's when they're starting to see all these, they first see Julie, they call her the crazy car lady or whatever, running over her boyfriend. And so Mel calls them all downstairs and everyone runs them down in a panic and she shows them the app. And, of course, Harry's like, what is that? And she's like, she explains what the app is. And she's like, you're going to have to be up on this now that you're dating a younger woman. And you saw the light go out of Harry's eyes. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, wow, you just figured that out, dude. I'm like, but it was sad. I love the dynamic between all of them at this point. And hey, Macy and Mel had more time by themselves in this episode. Like, so Macy inherits safe space, which we knew that she would. We saw this in the preview. And this accomplishes something for me that I think is very ironic. At first, I thought they were hinting more towards Swan being more than she's, most people think she is, more than I know she is. But because they were standing pretty far apart. But I think at the last, I want to say the last scene of this episode, I think Macy was able to touch her. So not ruling out that she still is not something magical, but I'm just saying. And I'm going to get to Swan in a minute because I want to go back to Macy and Mel. So Macy and Mel were walking, and Macy's talking about how she doesn't have time for this safe space stuff. She needs to find a cure for this allergy they have, and she's like, she doesn't have time to run a business. And Mel's like, if anybody could run a business and do this, it's you. I mean, she was like literally building her up, and I'm like, wow. And then when Mel got a message from her professor to come in for a meeting, she had this look on her face, and Macy's like, what's wrong? And she actually looked concerned. I'm like, oh, is this a bond for me? I'm like, guys, you don't understand. Whenever Macy and Mel are in the scene together and act like sisters, I feel like I won the lottery. I'm like, I literally feel like I have lived my best life in that episode. So this episode for me, just by basis of Mel and Macy, has like leaps and bounds. So this is a good episode for me. So I was happy about that. But Macy's reluctance to hear all of the ideas for Swan, because Swan is like so pro safe space. She is so pro safe space. Her texting Macy every minute of every hour about everything. I thought it was interesting because Macy was annoyed as hell. You can see she was like, I don't have time for this. I don't care about ice or Margarita Friday. I don't care about any of this vegan. She was like, this is not my life. But when she literally told Swan, I don't care, I've got more important things to do. And Swan was like, well, this may not be your shit, but this is ours. And so if you don't want it, give it to somebody else. I'm like, oh, man, them boxing gloves came out. So I was like, let me tell you something. I was like, girl, drop that mic real fast. Macy couldn't say anything. She's like, this may be nothing to you, but this some of us, this is all we have, and it's our community. So if you don't like it, give it to somebody who will. I was like, and there you go. So I had to stand up and give my girl some props, because Swan has always been the sweet one that passes out vegan cupcakes and is always peppy and happy about everything. Homegirl came out. we saw some of the real Swan today. So that made me excited. And honestly, I really thought she was going to make Swan like maybe like co-manager or leader or part, maybe like, upper management, where she's like the highest rank, not really CEO. I don't think they have like a CEO level at a safe space, but you know what I mean? Like have her in an executive position where she's the one everybody goes to, which is cool because I could literally see her running everything, because that girl is safe space. She's a safe space fanatic. So I could see her doing that. But I mean, she put Macy in place. I was like, okay. I'm like, Macy was like, oh, let me back up. Girl came swinging. So yeah, I was pretty excited about that. So they're dealing with this, again, Odom guy who's like doing all this crazy stuff. So, I mean, again, he fulfilled my monster of the week. It's interesting to me, like a couple of things. There's an alien hunter online. He has like 50,000 subscribers, and he's going around saying that all these people that are doing this weird crap are aliens, and it's an alien invasion. And so now there are alien people, like crazed alien hunters running around, kind of like what happened, with the Senate, here. I'm like, so they were out for blood. And so Maggie and Macy had to go to Vancouver to find Julie, and for Maggie to be able to get a premonition, she had to be there, which I thought was interesting. I love that she can bring those premonitions now whenever she touches things, because now she has two powers. And I'm like, I'm still so bitter about Mel's powers, not getting her time powers back. I know that people are like completely okay with her new powers. I don't know. I don't like them. I'm going to keep saying them. I don't like her Elsa and Human Torch powers. I really want her to have her time powers back. I really do. I mean, they can do something else with them, involve them. She can blow things up like Piper did, but I don't like it. So yeah, every time Maggie uses her premonition abilities, and we have, Macy still with her telekinesis, but we got Mel out here with this weird comic book hybrid crap that nobody cares about. It just bothers me a little bit. But yeah, so she gets the premonition, and she sees her in the woods carving Odom's name in a tree, basically. And so they go find her, and she's still like entranced by this guy. She's still mumbling the words. And I wrote the words down because every time it's like mepta alma is what they keep saying. And that means prove your love to me, basically. And so they wanted, like, the people are coming, the alien hunters are coming, and Macy's like, well, we can't take her back to the command center because then we'll have to explain who we are. And Maggie's like, then what the hell are we going to do with her? You can't leave her out here for the alien hunters. And so they end up taking her back to the command center. And I think it's interesting that this is where Maggie gets her idea for her project. She starts saying, she starts doing something where they're connected, and she uses her, I call them force emotion powers, and then start dancing around each other, and the woman starts dancing. So she's literally dancing. She's dancing the possession out of her body. And this is very important. I'll tell you why, because my next nitpick has to do with this. So the girl is free. And then they have that long talk, and the girl's, of course, worried about her boyfriend. They say, oh, he's fine, he's recovering in the hospital. And she's like, I don't know how I'm going to go back to him again. I really need to know if they worked that out, because Charm does have a habit of sometimes not closing every plot line. So I just want to make sure that this girl could safely go back to her boyfriend without him thinking that she tried to kill him. But all right, so they do all this dancing stuff. And then for some reason, I don't know why. I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't know why. Let me break this down. So they introduce themselves as archaeologists that study paranormal, activity, basically. They ask her what happened. They have the conversation. And then for some reason, Maggie and Julie go up to safe space to the bar. And I'm like, why? I'm like, why would you do that? I'm like, you just had to have a reason to separate them. That's what that was about. You had to have a reason to get them on that roof. So of course Odom finds her, and her and Maggie are running together, and they end up running to the roof after she calls Macy and says, he's here. We're going to the roof. All right. Nitpick. I guess this is number 2. You ready? So Maggie specifically said, do not look at this man in the eyes because he will entice you. And what does Macy do? Guys, like, Macy's the smartest one. Like, why do they keep doing this? Why? The girl stood there and just stared at him as he walked towards her and then blew that crap in her face. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? And now we're on nitpick number 3. Why in the hell do they not let Maggie and Mel use their powers when they're about to die? I'm like, what is it, Charmed? If Macy is attacking you, fight back. You don't have to kill your sister, but you can knock homegirl down. That is called a sibling fight. Why can you not use your abilities when it really effing matters? I don't understand that. I mean, hell, they just showed Maggie making a girl dance out her enticement, it's the whole thing was strange, but it worked. But yet you aren't using it on your sister who's trying to blast you off of the roof to your death. What? Like, what? And I mean, if Mel has so much control over this Elsa power, freeze her arms or something temporarily and then thaw them out with your fire. I don't know. Do something. Why are they not allowed to do anything but have a conversation verbally saying, Macy, you're you. You're really you. Say your name, Macy. You can do it, Macy. Go, Macy. And I'm like, you got to be effing kidding me right now. Knock her ass down. Like, Charmed. What you doing? Again, I like this episode, but I got to call it out because that makes no sense. You are about to die. And not one of you, not a spell, not an active power, nothing. You did nothing but say, Mel, we're gonna die. No, we're not. Like, see, this is why I can't be in the show. Can't be in the show. Because homegirl would have went down. I'm telling you this now. I'm like, what happened to Mace? I knocked her. Like, she tried to knock me off the roof. She had to go. I'm like, I don't understand that. So those are 3 of my nitpicks right there, because you know I had to find them. But they did let them use their power, or at least Mel had Macy move the potion that she dropped, because they basically were using the yew tree to make a yew brew. They made a yew brew out of the yew tree. Like, that's it, because we have to have lots of love for trees in this series. And she dropped it. Macy dropped it when she just stared right at the guy, because I still don't know why she did that, and used her telekinesis to move it over to Mel, who transformed it into a mirror. So they defeated the demon by him basically enticing himself. Like, that's basically. Now, I will say, I'm looking at your comments, guys. Now I'll go up and answer some of them in a minute. But Madness Arcade, I know you thought that, motivating her was wholesome. That's fine. The issue is, though, they are charmed ones. And if you are about to die, self-preservation needs to be front and center. You do not sit there and beg someone not to kill you when you have an active power that can allow you to save yourself. I'm just saying. So, yeah. But I thought that was really, it was really interesting. It was a very interesting spin on what was going on in this episode. But I noticed when he was defeated, the same symbol as the last creature was on the ground. So now they know the creatures are mythological and that they are connected. But we still are trying to figure out what that's about. Now, side note, so all the girls are still, again, dealing with different stuff. We got Macy dealing with inheriting safe space. We got, Maggie trying to get this internship, trying to figure out what her project's going to be to impress her professor. And then we have Mel, who is dealing with her dean, who is crazy. I'm like, the dean literally calls her in the office and says, oh, I have a book you can teach. And it was, vetted by, our board, and everybody's on board with this, so we can put this as your extra credit assignment instead of the book you're currently using by Maya Guzman. And this book was I think it was 8 years old, and it was written by the dean, and it basically wanted to say that transgendered people, our youth, would outgrow their transgendered identity, which is actually transphobic as hell, speaking from someone who is married to someone who is trans male. It's transphobic. So now I see what Mel is actually up against at this school. And I was really proud of Mel for sticking to her guns and saying, hey, that book is old. It does not have the latest research. And I think it lacks research. Yeah, Toby said 2013 book, and it's outdated and lacks research. That's exactly what it was. It just dripped of transphobia. So I don't know what the heck's going on with that demon. If she wrote this book, then you already know what the problem is. The problem was never that you couldn't just modify the syllabus. The problem was you're dealing with a transphobic woman. So I think that, even the way she was looking at Mel when Mel walked off, I don't think that Mel is going to be on her favorite fast track for tenure now, because she had the audacity to basically educate her on her own book. So I do think that is going to be something that happens. But no, I don't think the dean is trans. I think that line with Mel in the book where she says, I'd rather have a book written by a trans woman, she's talking about Maya Guzman's book. I don't think she's talking about, I think the dean is just literally transphobic. Now, as Sean said, as Evard said, I feel the dean was testing Mel. That's possible. That could have been a test to see where she actually stood on social issues and all this stuff. But if she's not, the fact that this is a published book and that's what the book content has in it, that's kind of hard to fake even during a test. So I kind of feel like that is what she actually believes, and that is messed up. But I love the scene where Kevin came to thank Mel during office hours. I thought that was really sweet. And the fact that his roommate apologized to him, I thought that was a very cool moment. And Mel saying, I've seen progress in class just from people reading the book, which I'm so proud people are reading. Because when I was in college, a lot of my classmates, they didn't read our assignments. So I'm like really happy that these people are like, she's got a good class. The other thing that I will say about this episode, I guess two things. This Antonio guy, I have a feeling that this is going to be a thing with Maggie, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't really want her to start having a romantic interest in this guy, or vice versa. I don't like it. And I did notice this is the one episode where Jordan didn't say anything about Maggie, mention Maggie, or say hi to Maggie. So that that bothered me. But again, this is only episode 5. So a lot can happen. A lot can happen in this. But yeah, overall, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I did. I, again, loved anytime I see Macy and Mel together, guys. It's my episode. I'm like, they're acting like they give a crap about each other. I'm so excited. Now I just need more of this. But I saw the preview for next week, and I saw that Mel is going on a mission with Abby. I told you guys, I am an Abby Mel fan, and there's a reason they always put Mel with Abby. There is a reason they do it. I'm just saying, there is a reason. I worry about Mel a lot because Mel, she seems really more well-adjusted now, and I love it. But she has a tendency of throwing herself into things. Like when she didn't have power, she was throwing herself into potions, you know. Even when she was a bartender, she was like one of the best bartenders, you know, at that bar in season 1. She always throws herself into something as a distraction from dealing with her actual feelings. And so I do wonder, you know, I really wonder what's going on with Mel. Because Mel, let's not forget, Mel's always the first one willing to die. Always. Willing to sacrifice herself automatically. There's something wrong with that. I mean, there is being, you know, self-sacrificial and doing it because you love your sisters and you want to protect the world and blah, blah, blah. And then there's just being somewhat inwardly unhappy with who you are and being depressed. And I really do wonder sometimes if Mel has depression. But that's just me. And I just had to throw that out there. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. I mean, look at Maggie. Maggie has straight up panic attacks. So her sister could have depression. They have the same mother. I mean, depression could be in their family. We don't know because we don't know the other family members yet. Even though they're possibly getting a cousin, we don't know their family. We don't know the Veras. We don't know anything about them. So, yeah. And I do wonder if my last nitpick for this series is going to ever come into play. So let's do it, guys. Let me get my decaf on. Last nitpick for the episode, which kind of ties in with the last episode and the one before that. So I've been married for a while. I live in an apartment because it's very expensive to buy a house. So the idea of my magical house transporting with me to Seattle, which is much more expensive than where I live, and just plotting down in a parking lot or abandoned plot and being invisible and then not being invisible anymore. But yet for some reason, I don't have to pay taxes or even figure out who owns said lot is weird to me. And I only bring this up because a lawyer came to their house from the Shea Group, which means that that is a physical address. Their house is now a physical address and a lot in Seattle that they don't own. How? Somebody explain this to me. Because I want to do this. I want to find a house that will magically follow me around to wherever I am and allow me to live with tax-free wherever I want to live. Because even an OG Charmed in their house that was handed down through their family, they had to pay taxes and they had to pay, you know, mortgage stuff. You know, they had to pay for stuff. Somebody tell me why. It's driving me crazy. And then also, I guess I just have to add this nitpick too. You ready? If Julian knew Macy as Macy Flores, but Macy Vaughn is the one that inherited Safe Space, how did he know her name was really Macy Vaughn? Because I'm assuming that all of this will stuff happened while they were semi together. So how did that even? I'm gonna find stuff. So please, guys, educate me. Just educate me, because I want to know. Want to know. Of course they're thinking we won't pick this up, Toby, but they don't know who we are. I'm like, well, look, I have a film degree. I specialize in screenwriting. I literally have a at-home job right now. I have nothing but time to stare at your mistakes. I'm like, so COVID did not help this at all. It gave us more time on our hands to be a little bit more observant at what we're looking at, because we look at so much. So I'm just throwing it out there, guys. What the hell are you doing? Because something is wrong. Because I am not going to suspend my disbelief that you literally are not having them steal somebody's property, because that lot does not belong to them. And you are not going to tell me that Macy Vaughn inherited Safe Space and not Macy Flores. Not to mention, there's no fallout whatsoever for them magically being alive. I mean, are their graves gone now? Like, if we go to the cemetery, are there no longer the graves of the sisters? Did they have a traction in the paper saying, "Oh, by the way, remember we told you those 3 sisters died in that house fire"? Nah, no, they didn't. Oh, and if we really pay close attention, the house isn't gone either. It's right here in Seattle. Like, just saying. Oh, they don't want me. Oh, they don't want me. I'm like, what you doing? What are you doing? Continuity, guys, is a thing. You need to have very good continuity. And yeah, I have lots of questions. So those are my nitpicks, guys. I know I have more, but I'm being nice today. I'm being nice. But again, great episode. I love that Macy has my hair. If you miss my picture, guys, she has my exact same hair. I'm not Macy, Maggie. I am so excited that I get to see my hair run around, because I can't do it here. The humidity would kill. My hair will go from cute to what the hell happened in really like an hour. So that's why I straightened my hair. But she has my exact curls, and I am so excited, except I don't have bangs. But yeah. And just because I like to brag, if you guys haven't seen it, I will show that picture again, because I think I still have it up. This is me and my spouse. So we're going to look at me and my spouse. Bam. So there's my hair. See, curls, 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 curls. And that's my spouse. But yeah, I have the exact same hair as Maggie. Curly girls. Love it. Miss my hair, by the way. I just can't do it. But if you look at some of my older videos on this channel, like when I was in another apartment, I did have my hair curly at times. So you probably can see it there. But I love it. I just can't pull it off in humidity. So she is better than me. All right. So let's look at some of your questions, guys. Let me try and scroll up. Up. We're gonna go up. Hopefully this will not shift down, because StreamYard likes to do that. I'll get to a point where I'm reading something and then just pops right to the bottom. I call it empathic manipulation. Okay, so that's what you're calling Maggie's power. Okay. The new writers are good. I do like what they're doing this season. I just want them to clarify the questions and nitpicks I just vented about a second ago. Harry erased their memories and maybe work some good old white lighter basics. When you mean you mean the people? Because wouldn't he have to do that with everybody? Because the problem with social media is things go viral like that. So wouldn't you have to wipe everybody's memories? That's the thing. I would worry about that. Like, I would say, like, can you do like a mass wipe on that level? Because he's only one white lighter. That seems something like they probably would have had to have done like a spell or something. But I don't know. Did they ever mention, does anyone remember them mentioning at the end of this episode, Julie's outcome? Because like Maggie says, we'll help you. But then did they help her? Or did they just send her back to her boyfriend? He can press charges and put her in jail for trying to kill him. I mean, I'm just curious. Let's see. I thought it was unique. I liked it. Okay. I think Macy was just kind of caught in the moment. Like, see, I want to give her props, but she's been so okay. Another thing that just dawned on me. So when they were looking up what everybody was saying when they were enticed, Macy said, I literally read the Book of Elders cover to cover, trying to figure out like an antidote for our allergy. And then she remembered. She's like, oh, I went to the page. She remembered what page that was on. Now I'm gonna tell you this. I read a lot. If you ask me to find a magical word on what page that is, I can't do that. I don't care if I've only read, if it was 10 pages. I can't go back and do that. But Macy went back like that. So that means she's either has an eidetic memory or the girl is just good. So you can't tell me that a girl that can find this phrase in another language where they have to decipher it in the Book of Elders from cover to cover is going to stand there and stare at somebody that Maggie literally just told you not to look at. Like, I can't buy that. I'm sorry. Like, can't. Macy looked right at him. I was scared she was going to try to hurt Harry. Yeah, well, luckily Harry was already hurt because when they went and they got shot by the arrows, and that was mostly for him and Jordan to have another moment. I'm like, so they could have all these bonding moments. Honestly, at this point, I feel like Jordan is Harry's best friend. Let's see, I have to admit, these episodes are definitely going way better than last season's. Absolutely. This season to me is shaping up to be one of the best. And I actually enjoyed season 1. So I'm really enjoying this season so far. Mel's powers were useful here. They were. I don't like her powers. I'm sorry. It's a personal preference. I just don't like it. I like Elsa's powers with Elsa, an Iceman, and I like Human Torch's fire and like Sailor Mars, but I just don't like this whole hybrid Elsa Human Torch combo that Mel's got, especially since she rarely ever effing uses her abilities. And I mean, I, for one, think that it costs a lot more money to do her powers in CG than premonitions and, I guess I'm going to call on it the empathic, whatever persuasion powers or whatever that, Maggie has in her premonitions. Because premonitions just shaky camera with a filter on top. It's really easy to do that. I think that it just costs a lot more money to do Mel's. It's unnecessary, and it's easier to stop something in film, like, film it in a very slow frame rate and then freeze it up or speed it up to look like nobody's moving in the background than it is with all of the prep and all of the CG work they would have to do on her other powers. So I don't like it. I just don't like it. I thought they would have telekinetically blasted him right away, but she didn't. I know. I don't know what it is. They were look, season 2, they were trying to get those powers back like that. And now it's like, we got them. We don't need to use them now. We got them. They're there. Just like what? I think Macy was using her immobilizing powers. Yeah. Because it's that weird color. Like, it was green in the last season, and now it seems to be like some kind of like bluish gray. It's really interesting with a little white mixed in. Macy was immobilizing them. They couldn't move. Okay, but you see, Mel can channel it from her hands, right? Why can't she just make like the freezing hit the ground and then travel towards her sister? And obviously it wasn't immobilizing their mouths. So why couldn't they say a spell to immobilize their sister together? Some spells don't require the power of 3. So there were lots that they could have done to defend themselves other than begging for their lives. I'm just saying. I think we are so power thirsty. Maybe the writers are trying to work on bettering their relationship. They need to. They really do. But again, this is a better episode from Macy and Mel. I am very happy with their interaction in this episode. I wonder if she still has demon powers, if she would have been able to fight it better. I'm still on the fence. I still believe that she has demon blood. And so if she has demon blood, then technically she still should have the ability to get demon powers. I think that's inactive or dormant with the dagger, with what Abby did with the dagger. But I do think that potentially she still has demon blood. I mean, I really hope so, because I mean, it will be like them ripping out Paige's white lighter side. It's weird. So I really hope that she still has it. Macy could have really killed them. Yeah, this is true, especially since they were letting her. Yeah, I think that was the reason they couldn't use powers, because they were immobilized. Like, again, if you can move your mouth, you can cast a spell. I mean, I'm just going to put that out there. The charm ones can cast spells all the time. We see Macy do it all the time. They literally could have cast a spell on her, even to put her to sleep. They could have done anything. Hell, they could have called for Harry. I'm like, Harry, your woman's gone crazy. I'm like, no, they instead just use the power of love and the power of communication to get through to their sister, so she can say, I am Macy. I am Macy. I'm like, I am the one. Let's see. It would be cool for Mill's powers to grow and actually control the environmental temp and stuff. Yeah, if she turned all like Storm and was controlling the weather in that level, I wouldn't say anything. Aurora Monroe is cool, but I don't think that's where they're going. I don't know what they're doing with Mel. I really don't. Evar, but yeah, I don't look into his eyes. I know it's weird. I don't know. And this has always been like a running joke for me, that us minorities in the horror movies, when you hear a noise, we don't go investigate. If somebody tells me not to look in the jar, I'm not looking in the jar. I'm not watching the movie on the VHS that says y'all die in 7 days. So if you tell me, if Maggie would have come to me and said, don't look at him, and baby, I'm already on the highway. I'm like, you don't got to tell me. So I feel like Macy doesn't have that self-preservation skill. And as a minority, I'm ashamed. I'm like, let's see, like flash freezing things and supernova them. So you think that that's what Mel will have, like a flash freeze? Because she did do that when she first got her power. She did freeze someone to the point where they like fell apart. But I don't know. I just love her being able to freeze stuff, and I would love to see them, because she was an actual time witch. That's what was so cool, because Piper was stopping molecules. She was literally speeding up their age and reducing. She was doing it with potions. She was doing it. I mean, she traveled in time with her part of the source's necklace piece to 2070. I mean, that is badass to me. I'm sorry. To me, it's a wasted opportunity, but. Yeah, whatever. Did you guys think, just off topic, did you think the reason that Macy inherited Safe Space is because, they take things from the OG series to try and morph into something and make it original? Hence, Piper getting, the club, P3 was her thing, her way of running the business and still being able to, do be a charm one and protect the innocent. Therefore giving Macy something to do, because Macy, she works with grants, so she has to be funded to do projects with her degree. So since she's not actively working for a lab and not working on any projects that would potentially take her away from her sisters, another good way of getting her, to do something that's beneficial, or like she says, use our voices and use use Safe Space as a platform to help people, is by giving her Safe Space. Just something I was thinking about. That part was crazy too. Just say your name and you can break the curse. Say my name, say my name. She was like, I am Macy. I am Macy. I am Macy. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's what you gotta do. That is like self-empowerment right there at its finest. Let me see here. You go, girls. That's funny, Gemini. I really thought that Macy was going to use her telekinesis to throw the potion at the demon like OG Prue. I know. I really think they purposely do this so that they can separate this series from the OG series. So anything they think that would have happened in OG Charm, they do the opposite. You can do it, Paige. Prue did. Sean. I really hope Macy gets back her deviant power soon. Again, I think that I think she will. There were a lot of symbols on the rock. I hope they don't have to go through them all, but not enough episodes. Well, it depends if they all come in like 2 or 3. But I mean, I do like that we're kind of back to a Monster of the Week format, even though it's pertaining to their allergy. The dean might be a demon. True that. That is true. I heard season 4 got greenlit. Yep. I think a couple of weeks ago they announced they will be getting a season 4. I knew they would. Their ratings are doing really well, even with COVID. Maybe Mesa will get the demon powers back after Abby dies. Do not kill off Abby, Sean. I thought we were friends. What the heck? Abby will not die. That book was crazy. Yes, it was. It was transphobic as heck. I feel like the dean is homophobic. Probably. She probably doesn't know Mel's a lesbian yet. So that's going to be interesting. Sunrise. No, I hope Abby doesn't die. Me and you both. I love Abby. Let's see. Okay, she was smiling after she denied the teacher a book, and I was just like, yikes, she really thinks she's gonna let that go. That's what I'm saying. Her standing there, the way she was looking at Mel was smiling walking away, but that her whole face, if you really looked at it, she looked like, all right, game on, bitch. Like, so I don't know what's gonna happen with that. This season is giving me feels. It is giving me feels too. I think Macy was chosen for that whole thing about devotion because of her and Harry's situation. Yeah, I do think that that's what that's about. But at the same time, it was her sisters over there. But I mean, it's interesting because I mean, Macy would have been the last one I would think that would just sit here and stare right into this guy's face. But whatever, you know, like I said, I feel like they have to have moments that are unrealistic to move the plot forward. Like, why the hell did Maggie take Julie up to that bar where everybody could see this girl? And if they saw a clear picture of her face on the app, wouldn't they see that this is the crazy girl that ran over her boyfriend? You know, and she's missing. People are looking for her. No. I'm like, another nitpick. I'm like, I just realized that Antonio is from the 100. Oh, is that where he's from? He looked familiar to me. I didn't realize that. Huh. Okay. Swan has to be something else. Well, I think she's an elder or Harry's great or granddaughter or great granddaughter from the other woman that he apparently started a family with that we don't know about. Triangle drama, Maggie, Anthony, and Jordan, Antonio and Jordan. Yes. It does look like there's going to be a triangle. It really does. Don't give up, Jordan. Jordan's not giving up. He wants to stay around on the show. What was going on with Jordan's curse, though? So what he was saying is that he was using Abby's book to go find these witches that were descendants. But he was just showing up saying, I could save you. And it looked like he was being a stalker. So he can't do that anymore. Because maybe they called the cops. I don't know. Because if he came up to me and said, hey, you're a descendant of this witch coven and your life is going to be in danger, but don't worry, I'm cursed by your coven because my great-grandfather burned you guys at the stake. But don't worry, I can save you to try and break the curse that was put on me by your family. I probably would call 911 too, because obviously he's got problems. I'm like, so yeah, not helpful. I'm liking that it's getting more intense. Best in a long time. Yeah, this season is good. It really is. Antonio is a demon. Either metaphorically or actuality, probably. Hoping he just stays a friend. I'm not really ready to dive into a love situation yet. Let the focus stay on the girls. A love story. Keep it with Macy and Harry. Yeah, unless they add in Mel and Abby, because Mel and Abby will always be in the same episodes anyway, because Abby will be off doing whatever she did when she inhaled this yellow smoke. I still need to know what that's about. And I hope that we see something about that next week, because we have not forgot that she did that. And she said, now no one will stop me. That doesn't mean she's turned evil. It does mean she gave herself a power up. We don't know, but apparently someone's trying to kill her in the next episode. So I really want to know what that's about. And that also begs the question, are they going to bring Parker back for this? I have wanted Jordan to help with the legal clinic. He might. It's still early. He might. We don't know what's going to go down with the snooty law firm. Mel and Macy need to have more scenes together. Yes, they do. They need to have all the scenes together. Abby Mel should be endgame. They better be. They better be. Let's see. Yeah, that is what is needed. I knew Mel would take dance classes, but didn't expect that fast. You mean Maggie? Because Maggie, since her actress is a dancer, she probably pushed to have that in. You know, sometimes the actors try to get things from their real life in the actual script. So I know she actually is a professional dancer and singer, so that makes sense. I'm happy that Abby is going to be in the next episode. Me too, because I need to have more. I need to have more, bonding with Mel and Abby, because I see it. I need other people to see it. I know when I talk to the Turnout, he's like, "You're crazy. Abby's just wrong for her," and I'm like, "You know nothing, Turnout, nothing." He's a good guy, but he's wrong. Hashtag Nico, where are you? I know her entire character, everything about her personality tells me that she would run to Mel if she knew Mel was alive. It just doesn't track. I'm sorry, it doesn't track with me that Nico hasn't found Mel yet. But whatever. Mel is my favorite character from the show, but I feel she doesn't get as much credit. I know she's always a back burner character. It bothers me a lot, but I feel like she's going to get more this season. Fingers crossed. If not, then I'm going to have to send that petition, hashtag treat Mel better, to the CW. Well, where the hell is Ray? I know. You know what? You're right, Sean. Why would they not take the archaeologist on these archaeologist finds? Huh. True that. Well said, my friend. Well said. Nico is in Hilltown still looking for Mel. Well, she just needs to get on social media because Mel's alive. I wonder if they have their same phone numbers. Like, did we ever see them change their phone number? This is interesting. I need all disclosure. I need to know. Disclaimer, exposition, give it to me. Macy would probably be the depressed one, considering how lonely she was. Not necessarily. Some people, loneliness does not always equate to depression. Some people actually thrive better on their own. I think what's happening with Macy is more of not knowing who her mother was. That's more of a parental thing. She wanted to know her other parent. So she feels cheated. So feeling cheated and depression are different. And also, she wasn't completely alone. She did have her dad, and she did say, yes, I was alone, but she seems to thrive in that environment more because she's a scientist. So she likes the singularity of that. Plus, she's not used to having siblings. So that's always been her struggle, having to share, having to learn to be part of a unit. That's her problem. I don't think it's depression. I think Mel is just straight up depressed because that girl has rolled with so much, learning her mother cheated, learning that she's actually the half sister, losing Nico, losing Jada, losing Kat's millisecond romance, now not being able to touch Ruby, having Ruby not want to be a part of her witchcraft thing, losing her powers, feeling inept. Like, all of this stuff for her has been hard. So what's interesting is she hasn't dealt with any of it. Like, she internalizes it and then she throws herself into obsessive stuff like OCD. So that's why I think even now she's in her teaching element and she loves it. But to be fair, what else does Mel have? So that's a problem. Like, Macy has Harry. She has safe space. She at any point could get a grant and do her career. She's, has really cool powers. She gets to be the big sister. She gets to make decisions, She has all of this. She has all of this. Maggie's got her psychology, but she also has, a guy pining after her that she can get at any time. She's got another guy who became human for her that's still pining after her. And I think she's going to have Antonio. She's got all this. Mel has her job. And I'm like, yeah, she's a charm one, but I mean, she has her job. If anybody's alone, really, I think it's Mel, and it's pretty sad. Let's see. According to the next episode, Abby is still with them. She went to them for once level. They made it seem like Abby is full villain now, but she is still on their side next episode. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it was a very quick episode, but she does ask Mel to help her. So I don't think she went to all of them. I think she just went to Mel, which means they're going to be separated again. But that's, we got to accept it. It's just going to be a thing. I wonder who is trying to kill Abby. I think the question there, Chastin, is that your name, Chastin? I like that name if that's true. The question there is, who isn't trying to kill Abby? Like, not who is. Who is it? Yes, the show is not realistic in that respect. Nope. I mean, I love that they're trying to be progressive and then show what's going on in the world. But I mean, last year we had so many people coming around with ICE that, like, even me, like, I look so ambiguous. People thought that I was Hispanic. I get mistaken for a lot of nationalities, and I was told straight out, because I live in the South, to always have my social security card, if possible, and my driver's license, all of my identification, because if I get pulled over and I don't have ID, they could take me to a detainment, center. And I thought that was crazy, but it actually happened to a friend of mine. And my friend is white and half Japanese, but she does look more Hispanic. And they literally took her to a detention center, and she had to call her roommate to bring her ID so they would let her go. That is the realism of the situation. So when you have women who, are Hispanic, especially male, running around with no ID, that is hard for me. Because that's not the society we live in. So suspending disbelief, no social security, no driver's license, no way of proving who you are, enter, that equals deportation. Like, bye, Mel. Let's see. I just find it funny that they can just go back to their normal lives without any repercussions. I know. I don't get that. I mean, hell, did they at least have to do a paper trail? Like, Maggie was working under a pseudonym, so how is she going to file her taxes from her safe space checks? I mean, that's like fraud. That's fraud. You did not legally change your name. That is fraud. You have, the FBI didn't put you in witness protection. How are you doing this? I'm very confused. And no one is like, where did the house come from? I know, I don't get it. I just thought Latin families were more into culture or family unification. I hate they literally have no other family members that's never came up. And what's really interesting, Sean, is that she's not, two of the sisters aren't just Latin, they're also Black, and Black families are all about get-togethers and reunions and all of that. I mean, huge culture in that. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we don't see anybody on Macy's side. Like, did Dexter not have any family? Did she not have a grandmother or aunt, other cousins? Nobody? I mean, I don't understand. Did we just find the two people that had no family at all? I'm like, it's almost like Dexter and Marisol were both orphans, and I have no idea what to say about Ray. So it's just very strange, because between Marisol with the Veras and then Ray, like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's fantasy. Ha ha ha. I'm surprised the show didn't mention anything regarding the presidency. They probably couldn't. It really depends on who was writing it. They probably didn't want to start drama with politics in the writing room. Hell, even Dexter could make an appearance and meet Macy's sisters. Well, I'm pretty sure Dexter is dead. So that would be hard. You're confused about them not paying taxes. I was confused about no one questioning where the damn housing came from. I'm confused about all of it. All of it. Mel could have depression because of the time warp thing changing their fate. Yeah, I think that's probably where it started. And then all of the other stuff just kind of impacted that, like, just all impacted that. So, the writers are thinking that we won't pick up. I think I already read that one. So yeah, they are. I think the writers not only are hoping, they really believe we aren't seeing this stuff. Sips drink. Hey, whenever you see me sip my drink villainously, it's because I've made a point. Maybe he finally searched the background when found out she was a witch. Okay. I don't know what we're talking about there, so you have to clarify. I mean, anybody can change their name. Now, this is true. Maria was my middle name, and I legally changed it from my first name. So this is absolutely true. But there's documentation. There are IDs. You have to change it on your social security card. I have 2 passports. I had to change it on my American and UK passports. There was a process. So, and then you have, for a while, you have to have a copy of that judgment with you, because I got mine from the Chancery Court. So I have to carry it that has my old name with my new name on it. So it's a really extensive process. So for them to do that, to change their name legally, they have to go to court. How can a dead girl go to court and change her name? That's not possible. So yeah, there's a lot of plot holes there. Maybe everything is appearing to be like that for others to see. Maybe everything was already planned out for them legal wise. I need them to say it. You know what I mean? Like when we watched OG Charmed and, the girls faked their deaths and then took on these blonde forms and pretended to be the cousins of themselves. They had backstory. They had issues. Like you had Piper as this cousin having to run her, go and run the business, having to take care of her children as somebody else. So that was realism to me. And I don't like comparing OG and the new series, because I do actually treat them separately, but I do like how they handled it in OG because it made it make sense. It made sense. And people were still questioning this, these cousins that came out of nowhere that no one's ever saw. Well, they didn't even bother to do that in this one. They just expected us to just buy it. You're like, oh yeah, people are completely okay that they're now using their real names and this house is in the middle of this lot they don't own and all of this stuff. They just expect us to believe that. I don't know why. I feel like we should be treated a little bit more felon. I get so tired when people like say, agenda, you're force feeding your politics down my throat. I'm like, no, I want people to really be like, exposition. I need you to feed backstory down my throat. Be more upset about that. Let's see. I'm assuming that right before Julian died, when Macy was helping him, that he did all this stuff and they had an actual conversation. I don't think they had time for that because they kidnapped him, remember? And then it seemed like it went from that point to him going and pretending to be Nadia and doing all this stuff. I feel like he did this when he was going to ask her to, I really believe Julian was going to ask either her to move in or to marry him or whatever. I think he's one of those people that finds what he wants and decides that is what he wants, and he's all in, and then he decided to leave her safe space. That's the only thing that makes sense, other than it being a ploy, or there are more nefarious reasonings behind it. We're gonna have to tweet the screenwriters. Absolutely. Mel could feel like this is all her fault because of her powers. Potentially. I tweet them every episode or anything. I have a random thought. Tweet them again, Sean, with everything I said. I don't bother. I have to start using Twitter. I have like hardly no following whatsoever because I'm never on that thing hardly at all. I need to start using Twitter. I know I'm old. I think Swan should get safe space. I think she should run it. I don't like that she said for some of us, this is all we have. I really want her to have more. I feel like that just makes me sad if that's really true, because she said for some of us that this is everything. Basically, I need to know more about Swan's life. Does anyone in Hilltown know they're alive? That is a damn good question. Because like, wouldn't you? That would make news, right? Even when Julian put out on social media when he was looking for Macy Flores, wouldn't people see that picture and say, that's Macy Vaughn from Hilltown? Oh my God, she's alive. I don't know. Maybe everything is masked. Social media is not masked. They will probably explain it in the time jump later on. Maybe. Graves are in Hilltown. Yes, I think they were buried in Hilltown. And that's why it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. They're alive. Like, wouldn't the Kappas know she was like, if Maggie, this is a true test. If Maggie actually finds the Kappas, if they have Kappas at her school and she pledges them, they are associated with each other. So that's an association. So that's going to be a red flag right there. Especially if nobody checks her identity. That's going to be an interesting. Maybe the magic ID that Harry had before he visited the first White Lighter had all the legal things they needed taken care of via spell that Celeste made. If this is like the blank badge you get in Doctor Who series where it just says whatever you need it to say, that's fine. They just haven't established that. That is my problem. We as viewers need to have that as an established thing. Let's see. I wonder what happened with the other property in Hilltown. It's empty without the house. That's true. Probably somebody rebuilt something on it. Um, let's see. I'm guessing they just gone use magic as the reason Julian and Aunt already knew they were the charm ones. True, but I mean, they didn't know Macy's last name at the time, so just something. Since when do Macy's powers start shooting this blue stuff? I love your name, that bitch. That's so to the point. That's her mobilization ability. When we look at the club scene in season 2, when they're rescuing Abby and Mel from being killed, she uses it on the crowd, but I could have swore it was green and kind of white at the time, and then I think they just changed it to blue, but I'll have to go back and look. But that is it's not her telekinesis, that's her mobilization ability. So in retrospect, she has a version of stopping time in a sense, but stopping and mobilizing things. If Abby and Mel don't end up together, then they need to bring back Jada and have Mel be with Jada, even if Jada isn't with Mel. I just hope they bring Jada back. I loved Jada as a character. Missed opportunity. I don't know why she didn't come to find Mel, because she's half white lighter. And I also need them to explain to us how all of the white lighters, basically dying except for Harry, affected her, because technically she wasn't a tether to the elders either, so she should be alive. But does that mean that her bio parent that was an elder is dead? There should be like a little storyline. That would be a good side story of Jada coming back and saying, Mel, I'm so happy you're alive. I want to find my real white lighter parent because I was adopted and I want to know if they're still alive. And that would be awesome. I would love that episode, but I don't think we're going to get anything like that. So yeah. Let's see here. Okay. Sorry, it scrolled down again, so I'm trying to scroll back up. I would be down if they had a secret brother and had an arc about feeling left out of the Power of 3 or something. I don't know. Yeah, that would be cool. I could see that. I hope Abby isn't trying to set up Mel to get killed. I don't think so. I actually think Abby has feelings for Mel. There's plenty of times she could have set up Mel to be killed in the last season. She kept saving her. So, I mean, she didn't have to come back for her when they were in prison, when she got out. She didn't have to stay with her when they were trapped in her apartment in her bedroom. She could have just teleported out. She didn't. She stayed with, Mel. So she even went with Mel to find the piece of the necklace. She didn't have to. She was sick. She was tired. Yeah, but she didn't have to go and be a timekeeper. She didn't have to find Mel's grave and tell her she could stay in the future. That's not somebody who wants to kill you. So the only way I could see that playing out is if the demon inside of her is evil and is taking over. But I don't really feel like that's the thing. And the person she went to for help is Mel. So that says something. Did you see her dancing? I would pine after Maggie too. Macy literally committed suicide in season 1 when she erased herself. True. Things I need in this season: more sisterhood and their parents. I am completely on board with that. Mel's powers more remind me of Emma and Rika's powers from H2O. Not sure if you saw that show. H2O. Is that the Mermaid series? Because if so, I think I've seen episodes of that. Maybe Macy will open up a science lab in Safe Space. Of course she will. She can open one up at their house. They got new phones. Remember, Mel dropped Maggie's in the water when they found out that they were dead in Hilltown. But did they change their numbers? That's what I want to know. Harry should become an archaeologist instead of a women's studies professor. I agree. Mel could use her powers more creatively, like she can freeze air molecules and create weapons. I would be down with that. That's not what's happening. You were confused about them not doing tactics. Oh, I already read that one. Sorry. It jumped back up. So let me go down. I'm trying to make sure I get to everybody's questions as much as possible. They wouldn't be a good topic to dive into for Charmed. What wouldn't be? The show mentioned the 2060 presidency. Oh, first season, it was the first sign of the rise of the source of all evil. Yeah, they might have been talking about Lex Luthor. That would be funny if they crossed universes. Macy was low-key acting blondish. Hasty and Maggie are my endgame. see that. Okay, let me move down. They probably made fake IDs off screen, especially with them being minorities. Yeah, I want to be. See, I hate that we have to spend more time saying they probably did when we should just know. That is my problem. That's the problem I have with the writer's room. They're great at doing these like fantastic, imaginative plots, but they don't deal with the real life situations very well. So it's like, I need you to expand on how they are living as normal human beings, even though they're witches, in the real world, and not just put all your focus in the magical world. That has always been my issue with these writers. Dexter probably kept Macy away from the other family members because of her powers. Well, Dexter kept Macy away because her mother would die if she came around her. She would just die. So it was to save Marisol. I would be down if they had a secret brother and he had an arc. I think I already talked about that. Does anyone think the trans male student that Mel has is a witch? No, because he was very close to her a lot of the time, and she should have been able to be like, her allergy would have repelled him. So I don't think that he's magical. I think he's just a regular trans student that's pretty cool and will probably inspire Mel a lot. And they did say that was the role of Kevin, to basically help one of the charm ones stand up for something. And we're seeing it. We're seeing Mel take a stand against the dean. So I think that's what that role is. People in Seattle wouldn't know about their past, though, and the people in Hilltown wouldn't know about the activity in Seattle. No, they would know through social media, though, if somebody was alive, especially if they're posting. Maggie posts on social media, so I'm just saying that in the past, before we had Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Tumblr and all of this social media, you could get away with staying off the grid. It is very hard to do that now. So social media, you have a presence. You automatically have a presence. And it's hard not to see that. It's hard not to see, somebody come across you that has known you from your past. Heck, when I go traveling, I see people and I don't even I'm like, how are you here? Somebody from high school or somebody I went to college with or blah, blah, blah. We always run into each other, and people will say stuff like, oh, I saw a picture of you and your spouse or you and your daughter or you and your dad on social media. And it's just there's something about that. I mean, you're not off the grid anymore. Not in this day and age. So it's hard for me to suspend my disbelief, especially when Julian put out a reward to find Macy Flores using Macy's picture. That was a viral situation. When you offer $1 million, that is viral. Viral. So I don't understand how people don't know they're alive. That's just me. I could see if he put it on the Safe Space website and it was internal, an intranet situation. No, he put it online. This is a news broadcast. So I have a problem with that. Let's see. Maybe they used a spell similar to how they did when Maggie went out for a job promotion. Potentially. I mean, like I said, what she did was she made it so she got the job. But again, I still don't understand the whole identification, whatever, because they were really in situations where they had to use their last name that we saw, because as far as I remember, Macy and Mel did not have a job. Only Maggie did. So Maggie was the breadwinner. The baby of the family was the breadwinner. I thought that was extremely funny. I wonder why Harry doesn't have a fortune stashed away somewhere, because he's lived a long life and he has very expensive tastes. So doesn't he have money? Another question. Let's see here. Twitter is toxic. People will just give you a headache. I believe it. I get some interesting comments on my videos. I had a gentleman argue me down 2 charm videos ago that I was Filipino and that was ashamed of my culture. And I actually had to delete the thread because it got really vulgar. And I'm like, I've never stated that I was Filipino. Beautiful culture, just not mine. I don't even know where that came from. So sometimes you just got to let people be nuts. I don't know. Just let them do their things somewhere else. Is Dexter really dead though? I mean, I don't know, because Macy said he's dead. He died. Now whether he's under a spell or she had her memory wiped or something, I don't know why they would fake Dexter's death. Like, what would be the reason for him to be alive? But again, this is Charmed. Anything can happen. But I don't. For now, I'm gonna say I think he's really dead. No, because it was only viral in Seattle, not worldwide. So madness. Whenever somebody offers money, $1 million to find someone, that's not just broadcasted in Seattle. It will hit the internet, and the moment it hits the internet, it is viral. That's just the way the web works. I mean, that's not you. There's no way to contain it within your city. It goes viral. It's how we know what happens in other states that go viral, and we don't live there. So many plots. Yep. Absolutely. Do you think that if Parker comes back, Abby and him will make up and become more like brothers? So I really hope so, because I really think that deep down, Abby just wants to have somebody love her. That's literally what I think. I don't think she's experienced that bond, that anybody giving a crap about her ever. I mean, her daddy tried to kill her. Her mom and sister don't want her. The two half brothers that Esther raised, one was a full demon and didn't like her and would have killed her, and then the other one was raised half human and wanted nothing to do with her because he felt she was evil. And like, it's just all messed up. All of that is messed up. So I kind of feel like if Abby had the bond that Mel and Maggie had growing up, she'd probably be a lot different. The reward seemed more like it was only viral in Seattle, in my opinion. Now, I'm telling you, you offer $1 million to find somebody, that's going to hit the web. That is a viral thing. And I mean, I will fight them if they said, oh, this is just aired in Seattle. No, because somebody's going to share it and somebody else is going to share it. And that's the way it goes. That's literally how we get news in this world. I really just realized they don't use chants to vanquish demons. I know. They speak Latin, don't they? I think it is Latin. I don't know. Dexter is a warlock. They never said that Dexter was a warlock. They never. And to me, he just seemed like Ray, just human. He just knew about Marisol. But to be fair, we don't know crap about Dexter. We just know that he cheated with Marisol. Now, he was with her, then they broke up after Macy, then he cheated with her again to have Maggie. That's literally all we know. And that he raised, Macy on his own and was a very stern parent and, very, very stern, protective parent. We know nothing else about Dexter. I don't even know what he did for a living. I know nothing. They need to make a new Book of Shadows because Book of Elders needs to stay in Command Center, and the family is going to need a magical tome of Vera Magic. I agree. I think they are going to make one. I mean, I thought Mel was making one, though. She did say she was starting to make one. I don't know. I want them to actually show what exactly happened to the Book of Shadows. That would be a cool episode. I want some Mel witches on the show. Yes, make witches. Yeah, we definitely need that. And Dexter is alive somewhere. Okay, Nyleave, you know what? I'm gonna believe you. If you think Dexter's alive, then Dexter could be alive. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what purpose it would be to lie about it and say that he was dead or make Macy feel like he was dead, but I'm not gonna say he's not. He could be out living his best life. But I mean, he seemed really attached to his daughter. So there have to have been a reason for him to be away from Macy all this time, pretending to be dead. So that's an episode that we would need to see. But I am so down with Jada coming back. I love that idea, but it's not going to happen. I would love to have closure for Nico. They don't have to be together. I just really want Nico to come back. And they work out their stuff, and we actually have, because how they left that whole thing with Nico was a mess. That was a mess. Dexter died. That's why Macy went to Hilltown, I thought. Well, I think she went to Hilltown because she got a research grant at the school working for Parker's mother. I think the Book of Shadows will appear out of nowhere one day. That'll be funny. They go back and the book's like right there, and it's like, I'm back, bitches. Like, where the hell have you been? More Ruby and Jada. Yeah, it's hard for me. I don't dislike Ruby. I just don't like her with Mel. I don't feel the chemistry that people seem to feel. I don't feel it. Like, I don't look at them and get excited. So there's that. Jada, on the other hand, had mad chemistry with Mel. Like, I loved her with Nico, but I actually really loved her with Jada. Nico is my sweet girl who, okay, well, let's be clear though. I like to say this. We romanticize stuff a lot, but let's be clear. So the reason that Mel and Nico were together originally is because Mel has her mother's genes and she cheats. So she literally hooked up with Nico while Nico was engaged to another woman and then did it again. Like, literally, Nico started remembering her and then she cheated again because Nico had not broken up with her girlfriend before they cheated again, where they were making out and stuff. So it wasn't really the most pure and wholesome relationship to begin with, but they really did seem to be into each other. Whereas we have Jada, who was not with anybody, and Mel was actually on the rebound from Nico and then got together with Jada. But I really loved her and Jada together. I thought they had amazing chemistry. So yeah, I would love to have her back. And I just don't think it's going to happen. So there's that. It's kind of like with, I think her name is Bridie. It's either Bride or Birdie in Motherland Fort Salem. I love the character, and I've seen her a couple of times, but I love for her to be a regular because I really love her backstory, and I think she would be an awesome addition to that show. But the characters I usually like are the ones that are kind of obscure, and then they don't come back anymore. So they're there for like a millisecond, and then they're gone. So even with Kat was growing on me, but she didn't have time because she was like in and out. She was living there for like 30 minutes. So I don't know. Let's see. Okay, let me go back up. Okay. I missed the warlocks blinking. And why was Jimmy so powerful? And are white lighters that powerful? Because Jimmy took on power of 3 and body them, yet ancient demons they take out or no fuss. That's true. Jimmy came in swinging and was able to almost take out the charm ones in season 1 or season 2 episode 1, which is why I guess I could see the theory behind him not really being dead with Harry and him fighting, because Jimmy does seem to have some mad skills, but he is the dark side of Harry. So he's willing to do the stuff that Harry won't do, which means Harry potentially has that ability too. He just is he's the angelic side. So, I would love for the Charmlands and Parker to have like a surprise birthday party for Abby. She'd be so confused in the episode. Like, that probably wouldn't happen. No. Right now they're on the track that she's evil again, because that's what they do in this series. They can't leave Abby alone. Macy and Mel look locked in an episode so they can bond. I would love them to have an actual talk about their actual feelings, because for Mel, she was the oldest and now she's the middle child. She went from being Marsha to Jan Brady. That's gotta suck. And then to be told that you're the half sister, that the sister you grew up with your whole life is only your half sister, and that this girl who's come in and taking your role as the oldest is the full sister of your baby sister, which means they have more in common now than you and Maggie did, even though you have all these memories. That has to suck. That has to suck. But she didn't deal with it. She just didn't deal with it. To this day, I don't like how Macy told her. If you go back and watch season 1, when she comes down there with the printouts of the DNA test, and she's like, DNA results don't lie. So Maggie, me and you are full sisters. We have the same dad and the same mom. And Mel, you're only half. That was so bitchy. Both Mel and Maggie were like, what the hell is wrong with you? And they both got upset. But Mel never dealt with that. Like, it never became a conversation later on. We saw Maggie having issues. Especially like realizing that she was half Black, because she had no idea. It's a whole other culture that she knew nothing about. Having identity issues, realizing the guy you idolized who kind of wasn't around and who you had issues with, but still wanted desperately to be in your life. Ray is not your bio dad. All of that stuff from Maggie's perspective was dealt with. But they just made it seem like Mel was just cool with everything. And I'm like, that's not normal. So I have issues with that. I think with all the post-its, not sticky notes on the Book of Elders, maybe they can make their own Book of Shadows. I agree, because she had multicolor. She had a coloring system going on. She's nothing if not efficient. That's why I think Macy's got a little OCD in her too. Let's see. Kev, it would be more like Piper and Leo, not Phoebe and Cole. I love Hasty, but I don't want this to just be Macy's character like it was with Phoebe and Cole. Oh, you mean Piper and Leo. Yeah, Phoebe and Cole would be more like Mel and Abby. Only they don't need to do to Abby what they did to Cole. Let's see here. Sorry, it scrolled down again. So I'm always having to go back up. So if I miss something, I'm so sorry. I'm trying. Nico needs to come back so that she can help them investigate stuff, getting info on people wise. Yeah, she could be like the Daryl of the group. But that would be very bad if Mel got with Abby and Nico was like the third wheel. So I don't know how that would play out. That would be such a nice episode if it happened. It would help show Abby that she isn't alone and that people care about her. They just need to effing tell her they care about her. That's what they need to do. They need to be like, you know what, Abby, we see you had a shit life. And you know what? We're going to help you. We will be in your life from now on. We care what happens to you. Join us. You know, just go in your head like Macy and say, I am Abby. I am Abby. Like, I'm never letting that go, guys. Let's see. I don't think Maggie would pledge because when they went back to Hilltown, it was implied she outgrew sororities. It was implied she outgrew drinking games and partying. She didn't say she outgrew Kappa, but you never know. Like I said, Maggie's doing her own thing right now. She's dealing with a lot of stuff and she's trying to reinvent herself. This is the year of Maggie, apparently, which is interesting because I do agree with the turnout. It seems like it was always the year of Maggie, but whatever. It's also a state college, and I think only universities have sororities, not state colleges. I think you can still pledge to chapters. You can down here. So like our one of our, I think, community colleges is called Shelby State, and I know they have alphas in that. So it just really depends. If you find the local chapter, I think you can still pledge as long as you're a student. You don't have to necessarily be on campus of that university. At least that's how it is here. I don't know how it is in other places. So the elders created magical beings that are super OP. Apparently, I would be down for Charmed and Legacy to have a crossover and them butting heads over their different styles of magic. Oh, that would be an interesting show. That would be interesting. Especially the twins. Let's see. Macy and Mel in the book, trapped in by a dark version of Maggie. Huh. That would be an interesting concept. I just really want Macy and Mel to be trapped somewhere or go on a mission together that takes them a long time to come back so they can really just talk. I really want them to bond more because it seems like Mel's willing. She's always being positive about Macy, about how smart she is and how competent she is, just like she was in this episode. I just want Macy to do the same. I want her to do the same, but we'll see. Are they getting into sci-fi territory with this new plot? It does seem that way, or at least into like more mythology, Greek mythology and Norse mythology. I bet the charmed ones have been asking the same questions that we do. I bet they're like, well, how come my character just don't do this or that instead of this or that? I mean, I would. I'd be breaking the fourth wall every day. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Macy's delivery of that DNA result episode was not perfect. Could have been a little bit more sophisticated and sensitive. Yeah. To be fair, Macy was never good with feelings. She doesn't know how that was a discussion in season 1. This is true, but she also gets upset when people aren't sensitive with her in discussion. So you can't have it both ways. Especially when Galvin had the new girlfriend who turns out to be Chicky, who plays Sophie in Batwoman. That whole thing was interesting. So you gotta, if you can dish it, you gotta take it. I'm just saying. Charmed writers should get more inspiration ideas from WandaVision and Netflix Sabrina. I agree. I agree. You need to have backstory. Macy's just socially awkward when she told them about her and Maggie being sisters. She is, but did you see? Go back and look at her face. The way she looked at Mel was like, "Nah, you're the half one." Like, it was like getting her back for initially showing up at her door saying, "I think we're sisters." You don't really show up at somebody's house after they lost their mother and then going through all this crap, and the first thing out of your mouth is, "I think we're sisters." Of course, that was going to go a different way. I'm like, let's see. The whole ancient extinct monsters plot is kind of reminding me of the Malware storyline on Legacies. I agree with that. But see, that's how the plots go. There are so many different episodes of Charm that kind of remind me of other series, like the part where Harry can't remember Macy. At the same exact time, if you watch Roswell, New Mexico, they had the exact same thing going on with Max and Liz. And I'm like, got the same writers, don't you? I'm like, that's what's happening. I like Sabrina. Sorry, just popped down. I apologize every time. Let me go back up. I like Sabrina in WandaVision, but I don't want Charm to take from it. I want it to be its own thing. Both of those shows are going to Eldritch Terrors. So WandaVision is getting strange for me because they're not following exactly the House of M plot. I still have theories on what's happening, but I do understand not wanting Charm to take from that because it is leading to something a lot crazier later on. So I do get that. But I think what the person meant was the fact that they're so detailed in explaining things that happened. Like we know what's going on with Monica. We know what we actually know now what happened and or what basically Wanda went through to get to where she is in Westview. So we have backstory, and that's what I think this person meant. If they have people that actually did continuity correctly, they would know how to explain all of the stuff we have questions about, and then we wouldn't be sitting here guessing and making up plot for writers who didn't put that much thought into it. Because like literally, we're sitting here putting more details in the plot and speculating more than the people that get paid to do it. And that is a problem. That is an actual problem. Let's see here. Macy needs to battle a Maggie because they both have pipes. We need to sing off between me. So you're saying you want an episode where they have a sing off, or it's a musical episode. That would be hilarious, especially since I think Mel's actress says she can't sing. So I would love to see that. State colleges in Minnesota have sororities and alpha. I thought so. Yeah, there are state colleges and community colleges that do allow you to pledge. They don't discriminate. As long as you're a student, then you can pledge. Any predictions for what we saw in the promo? Well, I think we're going to get another Monster of the Week, and I think it's going to be separate from Mel and Abby's journey. And I think that I'm hoping that Mel and Abby, when they're trying to figure out who's trying to kill her, it actually leads more into Abby's past. Because wouldn't it be cool if it was actually her sister that was doing it? I think that would be interesting. A lot of people think that Swan is Abby's sister. I don't know. I mean, honestly, we can't tell, but if they have the same mother and Alistair is the father, then that would mean that, you know, Abby would be half Asian. And unless the sister's half, then they could have the same mother and different fathers, and then that would track. But even still, I don't know, it would be really interesting. But a lot of people are like on this whole tangent that they think Swan is actually Abigail's sister. And I don't remember. Now, I do know that Abby has been to Safe Space because there's a scene where her and Mel were sitting at the bar, but I don't know if she's ever come across Swan. So I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't know. But I would love it if in the next episode we started seeing maybe one of her family members, her mother or sister, is actually the one that's trying to kill her. And then we get to see more about the mother and sister and what exactly happened between them. That is my hope speculation. Now, what will probably happen is we won't know who's trying to kill Abby, or they're going to make Abby into even more of a villain and making me mad and have her set all this up to get Mel separated from the others, to get her to help with something, or maybe she needs a spell, or maybe she needs to charm one's blood for something. I don't know. I hope that's not what's going to happen, because that will make me turn that episode off very quickly, you know. And I think the other girls are just going to be dealing with their stuff. Like Maggie's going to be dealing with this Antonio jerk. And I'm hoping she has an interaction with Jordan. I don't know, because it seems like, to me, it almost seems like Jordan and Harry have more screen time now than Maggie and Jordan do. So maybe she'll get to see him. Maybe she won't. Macy will be 100% split between safe space and finding a cure and trying to figure out what's going on with these symbols. So that's what I think is going to happen. They're going to cram a lot into one episode. Can we talk about how much Macy and Mel are giving real sister vibes? Exactly. I've been saying that. I really am happy that they are bonding in this episode. Please. And it started, I kind of feel like it started more in the last episode, but please let this continue. I am loving it. I think maybe they're getting the message. Maybe the writers are hearing people say, why do you have a sisterhood with just two sisters? Because Mel and Macy don't act like sisters. They act like roommates that don't like each other. And one of them didn't pay the rent on time. And so they don't like each other at all. So, yeah. Let's see. I want Mel to get the power of transfiguration as the next advancement. Some Harry Potter in there. I get that. How come Harry knew that this one, what this one was, and not the other one? Because of mythology, the name Odom, because he's not, I guess we do know that Harry's real, like, well-versed in researching, archaeologists, or basically not even archaeologists, like different, time errors, different written languages, different, time periods, like anthropods and things like that. He's in the, anthropology. So it does make sense that he would have an interest in mythology too. I guess if you've lived for hundreds and hundreds of years, you got to have a hobby. So women's studies was not the only thing that he was into, because they made it seem like that was his whole thing. He was in the women's studies as a professor, adjunct professor, and he wrote a book in the first season. And now he's gone from that to actually having a wealth of knowledge on practically everything in the past. So I think that he just remembered that from something he read in mythology. And it was actually Mel who thought about the yew tree. So I thought that was interesting. Transfiguration can kind of be done with the glamour green spell. True. I just want her time powers back. I meant more likely the storylines, how they connect everything and don't leave any gap in so many plots. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I like that the MCU writers are very good at continuity, because that's basically what that is. It's continuity and plot. So I love the fact that they start something, but they actually have an explanation, because they know that fans are watching everything they do. So they know they got to be on their ball. So I do know that is a thing. So I wish that Charm's writers, or at least had a separate team of continuity people that said, hey, I'm reminded the writers, we might want to explain this. If we're going to say this, we might want to say how they did this. They should have that, but I don't think that's what's happening. I think they're rolling these scripts out like a conveyor belt in a factory, and they got to get them out and get them fast, and they got deadlines. So they just toss some stuff in and say, well, we'll fix it later if we need to. And if nobody questions it, we don't have to worry about it. And that's literally what I think happens in that writer's room. First season, Mel didn't accept Mace as their sister. I think that's why they are not as close as we want them to be. But that was one episode. That's the thing. It was literally the pilot episode. And then she did nothing but try to accept Macy. Macy was the one, when she became the source, that was so jealous of Mel and saying, Mel, it's you. It's always been about you. And then made her not even be a sister, literally made her a Uber type driver in another state while she became Mel. She had Mel's roles. She was the sister that lived with the mother. She was the sister that got to be, brought up with Maggie. And that was her dream world. That says something. It says something that every time Mel gets hurt, even now, or even recently to the beginning of this season, that she didn't really care. She didn't react to it. Maggie was like, Mel, but Macy was just like, Julian's dead. It was like, your sister's unconscious on the ground. No, I mean, I'm sorry. I can't keep giving Macy free reign over something that happened in season 1 and episode 1. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. That is not how you act. And you're the oldest. You should have some level of maturity. So no, I'm not flying with that. Good with emotions or not. Let's see here. Okay. I think Maggie would be a good elder at the end of the series. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, not what the elders were, because the elders seem to be bitches in this series. So I think she would be a good newer, like I guess more, I want to say good version of elders, like a selfless elder. I could see that. Maybe Macy opens a science lab in safe space. I already read that one, and I am completely down with that, or at her house or in the command center. I mean, she doesn't need to have anybody there. She just needs a space to work in, and she needs grant money. What was said between Jordan and Harry about Macy before he said, "You do you, Harry"? Something about Harry's relationship. Thought that was a stab. It wasn't. I think Jordan's just saying, stop being in your freaking head, Harry. I mean, but he made a point. He said, you're worried about being older than her, but you don't age. What you need to be worried about is the fact that she's going to you're going to outlive her. She will age and die, and you will still be here. That is the real issue that Harry, and he kind of looked at him when he said that. I don't think that dawned on him, but that's going to be something they have to think about, because unfortunately, that is a thing, So yeah. We got a super chat. So Sean, I'm going to thank you for doing this. I appreciate you coming on here talking about my favorite genre of TV. So your favorite is Witches and Charmed? Awesome. I need to actually watch. There's another show. It's a witch show that somebody told me about. That's, I don't know if it's on A&E or whatever, but it's about they're hiding that they're witches or something like that. But it's set during the Salem witch trials. But it's not called Salem. It's called something else. I'm gonna have to find that series because it looks really, really good. And if I do like it, then I'll probably do some summaries on that, because I love the charm format. I love especially when there are sisters, and there's been a lot of series that have dealt with family members that are witches, and I think that's pretty cool. So let's see. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I am trying. You guys have a really, if I don't get all of your comments answered and I skipped it, please post it in the comments when I end this video, and then I'll come back and I'll answer them, because this does go away. And I have to disclaimer this because it doesn't stay when the video ends. So I can't go back and look at them. So make sure you copy and paste whatever you wanted to ask or say, or statements, opinions, theories, put them in the comments when the video ends, because I make sure that, we talk about it. Okay. I just wish this thing would not jump up. Oh, it's so frustrating, because I'll be on the track and then it just whoop. Okay. Can someone tell me how Mel turned the potion into liquid mirror? She basically used her ability, because when she's freezing things, what she's really doing is accelerating the molecule. So she just basically liquefied it. She accelerated the potion to where it actually hardened like a mirror. Not really hardened, but got to the space where it was reflective like a mirror. So I do like the fact that she can and accelerate molecules to the point where they go so fast they set on fire, or they go so slow that they are created ice. And this shows, by her doing it to a mirror, that she can control the length of time that the molecules need to form a different texture, if that makes sense. So it's liquid. It's a liquefied mirror from the potion. That was pretty cool. It's very, very cool. Plus, if you look at water and fire and creating mirror and glass, it's all the same concept. So she just used her powers the way you would use it to make a mirror. I'm gonna keep saying it though. I understand they're trying to be more creative, and I appreciate it, but I still want her to have her power. I miss, and this is just, I know this is OG. I love when Piper would freeze somebody, but then unfreeze their head and then talk smack to them and then threaten to blow parts of their body up because they can't move. I effing love that. I love that power. I know I need to let it go, because they're probably never giving her time witch abilities back. Yes, what Sean said. Basically, the glass of the vial was heated and cooled to be reflective, just like you would make actual glass. Didn't like her as Sophie or Summer. Also, you don't like Sophie on Batwoman either. Right now, she's not doing so hot. They're making her kind of stupid in season 2, but she's not a bad character. They just need to do something with her. Because what they have her doing is just, I'm military, I'm a crow, I miss Kate. I couldn't tell her that in season 1, but now that she's gone, I realize she's the love of my life. Like, they really need to do more with Sophie. Time travel would be fun, as we saw in season 1. They went back in time and saw Marisol was pregnant with Macy. I would love for them to go back in time. I think they will. I do. I think that they will have episodes like that. I miss the silliness of season 1, though. I love when Macy accidentally brought her favorite characters out of her TV show, and then her and Harry got trapped in the show. I love those episodes. I want to get back to them because Charmed has been very serious for a very long time. Like, everything has been so dire, like we're all gonna die in every episode, and now it just seems like they have time, once they figure out this allergy crap, to get back to kind of F up of the week, as we say. We cast a spell, and now all this is happening. You know, I love that. I loved when Maggie and Mel had, you know, they got switched. That was effing hilarious. I miss that. I really need them to go back to that format soon. Time travel, we already did that one. Let's see. CW verse will have similar storylines. Yeah, I mean, all of their shows do. You will see a storyline in some capacity, and sometimes clothing will transfer between characters. You'll see an outfit in this one show, and then somebody will wear it in another, because they, you know, the CW, they have a small budget. Let's see, a musical episode was confirmed already. Oh Lord, I bet you Mel's thrilled about that. Was it a vision? Oh yeah. I don't think so. Okay, I must have answered your question. I totally agree. If the writers would have put at least half of the amount of effort that the audience did last season, then maybe we could have a decent season. I agree with that. They should have done their research. It should have been something that, I don't want to say research. Like I said, we don't know the pressure these writers are over. I say CW writing, and I mean it, that is a problem and it's problematic, but we don't know what they go through to get these scripts out at the, you know, the length of time they're given. They could be given like a week to pump out an entire episode, which is hard when you have to collaborate with other people. But that also means that a lot of the time, you know, the continuity is lost, because you're like, well, we didn't think about last week when we said this, or maybe I didn't write last week's episode and I haven't seen it, or I didn't get to see the whole script. I'm told what's happening in the story and what you want, and I make my script according to that. But I don't have time to go back and research this whole show that I've never worked on before and then write this script. I mean, we don't know what their writer's room actually consists of, like the processes of it. And so even though I'm hard on them, I do sympathize that it is hard to write an entire episode, especially if you're being brought in from another show, because I think they rotate writers, and you probably don't know what the hell's going on. So I guess if you look at it from that perspective, it could be a lot worse. Maggie implied that she was too mature for sororities now. I think I already answered that one, but I really think she was talking about the drinking, the partying, you know, the kegs and all that. Abby's got a vendetta against the people in her lives. Oh, yes, she does. But I'm really hoping that does not extend to the charm ones. Let's see. It wasn't a vision. I said it was akin to one because no one can hear or see them. Because I'm not sure what we're talking about. I watched Macy's YouTube vlogs. I love her accent. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that she was English. I thought that was funny. It's a demon thing. Destroy the things that they give them. Emotions make them human. Well, I mean, if that's true, then that could play into why Abby's asking Mel for help. Because if she actually does like Mel in some capacity, then getting rid of her would make her more demon. Macy is kind of like, you get one chance with her. And when Mel didn't accept Macy, I think that she hasn't been able to let that go and holds it against her. So what you're saying is that Macy holds a grudge. I'm like, so in the Charm universe, where demons and magical creatures and beings are trying to kill you at all hours of the night, you need to let that shit go. I'm like, let it go. Let's see. Abigail's sister is a shut-in. Jordan went to her house. Yeah, I do know that. I don't think he actually saw the sister though. I was on I was under the impression that they left what was needed with the letter on the porch and said, take it and go. Let's see. Swan being Abby's sister wouldn't track because the allergy would have popped up for Macy when they were at the bar. True. See, that's what I don't think Swan is related to Abby. Now, it would be cool if Swan is not an elder. or a previous elder. It would be very cool if she was the daughter, a granddaughter, should I say, granddaughter or great granddaughter of Harry. Because again, he had another family we don't know anything about. They've never revealed this family. We just know from his previous wife in the flashback that he cheated on her and got another woman pregnant and had a second family. I don't understand this polyamorous thing going on with Harry, but that's something that Macy needs to think about, because I don't think Macy was aware of that vision, that he had another family. And I think that is something that will come out later, because, you know, they have to have obstacles for this couple at all times. So they can't touch. There's an age thing, and the other family is probably going to come to light, which is going to make Macy insecure, saying, oh, if you're with me, what if you decide to run off with somebody else and have another relationship or a family? You know, it's a thing that could happen. Let's see. Abby's sister turned herself into Jordan so she can get to Abby. I mean, honestly, I think that if anybody's trying to kill Abigail, it could be her sister. That would be interesting. The only other person that would try to kill her would be Alistair, and that would imply that when we saw somebody come through that rift in the last episode, that was her dad, because he tried to kill her before. So why wouldn't he do it again? Right now, Parker supposedly doesn't have any power, so I don't see him doing it unless he's just going in there and lighting a match and trying to set her bed on fire. I think we saw a bed on fire in the promo. I have to go back and look. But if I'm going to say it's anybody, it's either Alistair or Hunter, if it's not her sister or mother. But one of her relatives is trying to kill her. That's what I think is happening. Is Abby wearing a glamour? Because the last time we saw her, she had a demon face. I think the demon face may actually be what she sees when she looks in the mirror. I don't think they see it outside. You know, she probably looks human to everybody else, because that's how it is with like demons. Like when I'm pretty sure Alistair's face isn't human. So they always have that ability. So I think that's what is going on there. OMG, Swan is nobody. Ray. I am not accepting that, Ray. They have Swan in this too much for her to just be the girl that gets one moment where she shines by going off on Macy for not being more caring about the safe space community. And that's not her role. I'm like, there's more to Swan than that. If there's not more to Swan than that, then that is called bad writing. Erasing those memories doesn't affect the online videos of the car attack. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how they're going to fix that unless they did a spell to undo it. But then wouldn't that undo everything and make him, make Odom not be, enticing himself, make him not be sealed or whatever happened when the symbol appeared? Because to me, it's kind of felt like they sent him back to where he came from. I don't think they destroyed him. I think he just went back to wherever it was he came from. I'm really curious. I will say this is probably one of my most exciting seasons, because I do like that they're bringing mythology into this. So this is kind of cool. I hope Mel and Abby get together and then Abby goes evil. I would love that drama. The only thing that I want is not to follow the Phoebe Cole route, because to this date, I was always annoyed that we invested all of this time in Phoebe and Cole just to have him try and be the source and then go completely evil. And even in the end, though, he still was devoted enough to Phoebe to help her when she wasn't when she gave up trying to find love by going to Piper when Piper was like in the in-between and getting her to basically fix her sister. So even though he was banished by the Charmed Ones, especially his wife, still loved Phoebe so much that he repeatedly tried to help her, even in when he was like basically in hell. So I don't want that to be Abby's fate. I want Abby, because Abby wants love. It is opposite of Cole. Cole was always actively fighting his demon side and actually giving in. And the only reason that he didn't, and he tried to go towards the human side, was because he loved Phoebe. I want Abby to love Mel so much that she doesn't go evil. But yeah, I don't want them to vanquish Abby. I don't want Abby to die. I don't. Glamours are illusions, but Mel's power to manipulate molecules is in line with transfiguration. We're going to give you that, Ray. If you want her to have transfiguration, she has transfiguration. Charm bloopers are so funny. I agree. I like that it was implied that Swan had aspirations, meaning she has room for growth and has something to do. I know. I want to know what she means by this is for some of us, this is all we have. That sounds really bad. So I want to know Swan's backstory. I hope we actually learn more about Swan. But considering we didn't know more about the sisters, and how they survived all this time and all of the nitpicks that I have, I don't know if we're going to get that for Swan. Just saying. I also want to know what's going on with Jordan's grandmother. Did she die? Because wasn't he helping her? Like, didn't he move back to Seattle and leave the military and go to school to help take care of his sick grandmother? Is she still alive? Is his mother still alive? Does he see his family? Where is his family? Why haven't we seen his family? I want to know. Okay, let's scroll up again. Okay. Swan's role is token in the show. She's representing with no storyline or character depth, but tropes. But considering all the effed up stuff going on right now with people attacking Asians because of our former presidency and crazy ass people that followed him, making everyone believe that everybody Asian is responsible for COVID, they may give her more screen time and more of a story now, because that's what the networks do when they want to change the culture and the opinions on something. They start making positive reinforcing changes. So if Swan starts getting a shit ton of screen time, it's because that is what's happening. And I'm for it. So okay. Swan is an accessory character like Jenny and Prue's female boss, just to link them more to their mortal lives. True, but they could do that in other ways. Honestly, Swan is safe space. Let's be clear. When you think of safe space, you instantly think of Swan. There's just no ifs, ands about that. Maggie's premonitions are way more useful than Phoebe's. Have allowed more powerful, although not as flexible. Maggie can only see the future than thus far, but she has visions and recall and can call visions more easy. Well, she did have the vision of the future when somebody was going to die. Like when she saw someone dying, which technically she saw Julian dying, and that was in the future. I don't know. Chris asks, Maria, you look gorgeous. Thank you. I have so many bags under my eyes, but I appreciate that because I feel tired AF. But I am not working today, so I appreciate that. No, but you and Eloy are alive. He's live right now. That's funny. Great minds, I guess. Did I beat him? I think I started mine at 11 Central Standard Time, and he is an hour behind me. He lives in Florida. He's either an hour ahead or an hour behind me. I can't remember, but that's funny. Well, we're actually close to wrapping up, so then everybody can just jump over to Turnout. So make sure you jump over there. Tell everybody I sent you. Tell Eloy, Maria sent us over here. So let's take a few more questions. Abby Mel, Endgame. I can't wait for the next episode. Yes, Chris, we are soulmates in this. I really need them to be Endgame. Okay, why would her sister say, stay away from me, then turn around and hunt her down? That doesn't make sense. Nothing about Abby's family makes sense. Let's be real. Nothing about them makes sense. But again, it could be Alistair or Hunter. It could be anybody in Abby's family. It could be, what was his name? Godric, the one who wanted to be the Overlord. It could be him. He could still be alive. He could be the one coming for her. I don't think that the bounty on her, when all the demons were trying to find her and take her out, went away. So it could be anybody. But if it wanted to make it more personal, I would feel like it would be a family member. Mel already dated a dark witch with Jada, so Mel was likely to date another dark witch hybrid again. Yeah, and technically, I can't really call Jada a dark witch. The Sisters of Arcana thought they were doing the right thing because the elders were bad. Let's be clear. The elders were not 100% good. They did really shady things. So they were anti-establishment. So I look at the Sisters of Arcana as they were literally their own protest group who felt like the elders had too much power and were abusing it. And then they were, unfortunately their leader, Fiona, was nuts. And they didn't know that because obviously she came and killed all of them but Jada. So, misplaced, but her heart was in the right place. So I don't really feel like Jada was dark. I just feel like she was lost, if that makes sense. I can't wait for the next episode. It's going to be great. So I started first. Thank you, Sunrise. I started it first. Gotta be first. Gotta be number one in line. And okay, a couple of more. Harry just had multiple relationships because he was searching for soulmates. She is the one, #Casey. I agree with that. But remember, in the past, he was married, he had a son, and then he cheated on his wife after he had the wife and the son with somebody else and had another family. So bad. Not good, Harry. All right. And Parker is trying to kill Abby. Possibly. I mean, again, he doesn't have his power. So I would like to know what that's about, because he's trying to be good and prove himself to be good, because maybe deep down he still thinks he can get Maggie back, even though she told him to go away. I mean, I'm pretty sure the actor is still living with the actress in real life and they're still dating in real life. So you never know. Let's see, one more. Trying to see if I actually missed something. I think Abby's witch side's not trying to kill her. They just shunned her. The demon side actively tried to kill her. And they shunned her after she kept giving into her demon side. She wasn't like Macy handling that Hulk side in check. Now, I do agree with that, Ray. I think that her mother probably did disown her. But to be fair, the episode where her and Mel are trapped in her bedroom, she said that she had mother issues because her entire life, her mother told her her being half demon was a curse. It was bad. She made her feel like crap, which is bad because her mother made the choice to be with Alistair, unless Alistair tricked her like he did with Parker's mother, and she didn't realize that he was a demon until it was too late, and she just thought he was human. But again, I kind of feel like a witch would have seen through that. So whatever happened, what went down with Alistair and Abby's mother made her mother extremely bitter. It's like those scenarios where you see the mother and the dad cheats and is deadbeat, and then you're left with this kid or pregnant, and then you take it out on the kid. I kind of feel like that's what happened with the mother. So maybe the reason she kept giving into her demon side is because her mother was shunning her from the get-go. That kind of trauma doesn't just come from you being bad. That comes from a child when you're a child. So I feel like she probably treated the sister differently because she wasn't half demon. So Abigail has never measured up. She probably never measured up because of her mother. She didn't measure up with her father because he had a full demon son and he had a half demon son that he wanted to be the source. And he had no time for a female demon. Or a half breed. So it's really, really messed up. I equate this to Yashahime, where Abby is a half demon and everybody thinks that that's just messed up. The whole Inuyasha Yashahime universe. I feel like that is Abby. Abby would be the Setsuna Toa crossover character in that series that, everybody wants to kill because they're unnatural. So that's why I think Abby's messed up. And so she just embraced it. She's like, you're going to kill me and I'm just going to defend myself and be as evil as possible. There's a lot. I think there's a lot to Abby, and that's why I like her character. She's not just, straightforward evil. She literally has dimension and she's complex, and I like her a lot. But yeah. All right. I think because I know I did not get all these questions, guys. Again, I'm going to let you guys pop over to the Turnout if you're subscribed. If not, you should check him out and subscribe. He is awesome. Go check out his review. We do differ on the Abby Mel situation, but we agree on some things. And we're both, writers, so we have perspective. So it's very interesting. Love him to death. So check out his live stream that's happening right now on the Turnouts channel. See if you can get some insight on what you think is going to happen in the next episode and what he thought of this one. I'm curious. I'll probably check it out in a little while too. If I did not answer your questions, please post them in the comments, because this is going away and I won't see them. So pop them below. If you have not subscribed, please do, and like, because I love likes. Everybody likes to be liked. That's what's wrong with Abby. She's not liked. Be on the lookout for my Winx Fate Saga video. I am working on it. It's not going to be a live stream. It's actually a video. It's why it's taking me a minute, because I'm making sure I get everything I want to say into this video, but I said I was going to review it, so I am. So it is coming out. I'm going to try my best to get it out today. So be on the lookout for that. And I'll probably have my Black Lightning live stream either tonight or tomorrow. I do work tomorrow, so we'll see when I can pull that off. So it may end up not being a live stream. We'll see. But yeah, we have no Charm next week, guys. So we won't have a live stream for Charm, which sucks, or Batwoman, because apparently there's an award show on, so we're not going to have that. But yeah, yes, guys, it has been fun. I still have my half of my decaf coffee that I'm going to pretend is doing something for me. And thank you for spending your morning/afternoon/evening with me. You guys are awesome. So until next week or a week after next for our Charm stream or whatever my next live stream is, you have a great day, evening, night, and whatever else. Bye, guys.